Hello, and welcome back to Please Don't Live Stream. That's the wrong show. The spoilerCast. I am definitely juggling too many balls at the moment. So welcome to the spoilerCast, the show where we talk about movies, new and old, and we don't care about spoiling them because it's the spoilerCast.
spoilerCast.
Yes, and I am Tobias, the founder and co-host, and with me as always is my sister and co-host Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello, and if you are watching this live, welcome to the stream. I can't look at the chat right now, but I'll fix that. And if you're listening to this on any of the multitude of podcast platforms that we are on, thank you for listening. Be sure to follow us and give us all the likes and the 5 stars on iTunes. This is
And
legit,
all that good stuff.
all that good stuff. This is a legit podcast, man. I don't understand why we're not rivaling Joe Rogan and Cumtown and whatever, man. We should be up there, man.
We're
We're
getting
just as
there.
fun.
We're getting there.
We're just as fun as them, aren't we?
Yeah.
Come on. Anyway, also, if you want to support this show even more, there is of course a Patreon link somewhere, or just look up www.patreon.com/please don't make a scene, and you can support us by as little as I think $1 a month. But if you support us at the $3 amount, you will get an exclusive episode of the spoilerCast every goddamn week. So yeah, if you want to hear us talk even more about movies, check that out. But enough plugging. Let's actually get into the show. We are continuing our theme from last week, our first proper podcast for the year last week, where we talked about Night of the Living Dead for a multitude of reasons. And of course, then you gotta follow that up by talking about Dawn of the Dead. George.
The 1978 version, of course.
Of course. Honestly, no hate towards Zack Snyder's version. We're not going to discuss that though, unless you're listening to us on the exclusive podcast next Sunday.
This week.
Hey. Anyway, no, we're going to focus on George A. Romero's original. We talked a lot about Night of the Living Dead being like the grandfather of modern zombie movies. It kind of created the Living Dead or the Walking Dead thing. Before that, you only had like magical zombies or voodoo zombies.
Yeah.
And if Night of the Living Dead is the zombie movie that kind of started it all, Dawn of the Dead is the one that made the genre popular.
Yeah,
Like-
and set the format, I guess.
Yeah, I mean the format is kind of similar to Night of the Living Dead, but yes,
True.
it's definitely Dawn of the Dead that kind of that's the mold for like almost every zombie movie that came after it, sort of.
More or less. They've evolved since, but you know, the first ones that came after this more or less had the same concept.
Yes.
Even games.
What?
Even some games have the same concept.
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I can't think of the name of it, but there's one specific one.
Dead Rising, which is literally Dawn of the Dead. You're a journalist in a mall full of zombies.
Photojournalist, right?
Yeah, amazing game.
Love it.
No, seriously, I love it.
No, I do.
I love all three.
I think I have it for Xbox.
Yeah.
I think
Anyway,
I still have it. Yeah.
Anyway, so I've seen it many times. It's one of the earliest like horror movies I saw. But I don't know. Had you watched it before this?
No, I don't think I've seen this version before. I know I've seen the Zack Snyder one.
Yeah.
I know you showed me that one, but I don't
Probably
think I've seen this one. I think maybe you asked me, do you want to see the original or the remake?
And
I got to choose when I was like 12, probably. I was like, yeah, remake.
Yeah, something like that. Because it came out in 2004, so you would have been 10. So let's say we saw it when you were 11, maybe. Yeah, I don't think you would have appreciated Dawn of the Dead when you were 11.
Oh, the new one, yes.
Oh, sure.
Or the-
Yeah. I mean the new one, but the old
This
one wouldn't
one?
appreciate it.
No, I wouldn't have. I couldn't stand the makeup and the special effects.
Yeah,
And
but
some of the acting, to be honest.
yeah, well, sure. But now you're older, more mature. And now, having seen the original, we watched I think it's the Romero preferred cut. I'm not sure what it's called. It's the 2 hour and 7 minute version.
Yeah.
I myself prefer the longer version. That's like 2.5 hours. I think that's the can cut. But I thought for
Do you
this,
really need more though?
there's like little things. I don't know. Um, we'll get into that when we get to what I thought about it, because I did notice, like, no, you don't need much more, but I did notice a couple of small cuts that were like, oh, jarring to me.
Okay.
Um, uh, but right. So we watched the 2 hour and 7 minute version.
Yes.
Which I think that was the original theatrical version.
I believe so, because that's the one that comes up on IMDb.
Yeah. There is a 2 hour and 19 version, 19-minute version, which I think that's like the European cut that Argento put together. I think that is, or I might have gotten. There's so many versions. There's actually another version where they took all the separate cuts and took all the unique bits from those and put them together. I think that's like a fan made thing, though. I saw it on YouTube. That's like 2 hours and 40 minutes or something like that. But anyway, I digress.
Yes.
What was your opinion? What did you think of the movie? What did you think of Dawn of the Dead?
I mean, the concept, like I said, I've seen the storyline before.
Yes.
So it wasn't that spectacular. I knew what was going to happen more or less.
Yeah, sure.
But it was fine. It wasn't groundbreaking.
But wow, that's the thing, though. It was when it came out.
But not now, not for me.
Now. Yeah. I guess
2021.
I guess that's a problem with movies, with groundbreaking movies like this. Let's see. Oh no.
Yeah.
There we go. Where you have a movie like this that is so influential that it like creates an entire genre.
Yeah.
And everybody starts
not copying, but like following it.
Following it, doing similar things, and you end up with so many similar movies. And as time progresses, the original starts to look old, in comparison to the new ones. I mean,
this one is old as well. It's from 78.
It's from 78. Yeah, it's pretty old. It's like 78. It's 11 years older than me. 41 years. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
42.
Technically.
That made me feel old. But anyway.
Yeah.
It's the same problem with I remember that John Carter had when it came out. Do you remember John Carter, the Disney movie?
The one where he time travels and ends up on Mars or something?
Yeah. He travels.
I don't know.
He travels through space. He's a cowboy that ends up on Mars.
Somehow, yeah.
And has to help the Boo-Boo-Doo-Dooms and
giant green dudes.
Barsooms and Zoomazooms and things.
Yeah.
And he can jump really far. Yeah. That movie was based on
based on a book.
Based on a book. I think it's a book or like a pulp magazine thing.
Something, yeah.
From like 100 years ago, even more. So that's why people are like, yeah, we've seen all this before. Yeah, because every like adventure movie has taken inspiration from the John Carter stories.
Yeah.
So when they actually made a John Carter movie, I was like, I've seen this Princess in Distress, The Reluctant Hero. It's cookie cutter adventure movie stuff.
Like not even going to Mars was special back then. By then.
Yeah, exactly. So I think watching Dawn of the Dead now might have the same. It might have the same effect. Like you've seen this before.
But you have to see that as it's a good thing as well, because it does mean that it was such a good and special and influential film that it has affected film industry in general, or film that genre in general, so that it is now something recognizable. So it's a good thing. It's just a shame that I didn't see it before. I guess.
But you didn't have the same problem with Night of the Living Dead? Because you didn't mention...
I don't think that specific concept isn't as used as this one.
But it's kind of the same concept.
Nah, there's too many differences.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think are the differences, other than like the scope of it? Because this is bigger. in every
No,
sense of the
I
word.
think that's the big one though, that it is bigger. But then the rival gang wasn't
Sure,
a
sure.
thing in the first one really, and there are plenty more zombies. Just has the same feel as, let's say, Resident Evil. There's a bigger threat because there's more of them,
Mm. Okay. All
and
right.
there's more of the they can actually relax and find a home segment as well, because you didn't have that in the first
No,
one.
that's true. Yeah, because this takes place over at least a few months.
Yeah,
Because when it starts, what's her name? Jan? No, Fran.
I,
Fran. Sorry, I don't remember her.
Francine
Yeah,
even.
Francine. Yeah, Fran. She's. They mention that she's pregnant when they get to the mall. By the end of the movie, she has actually like a bit of
A bit of a
a
bump.
bump. Yeah. So and they mention that she's like in her fourth or fifth month when the movie starts.
Yeah.
So it has to be
No,
at
three and
least
a half, 4 months.
3.5, 4 months. Yeah. So it has to be at least a few months. So I guess that adds to it. That um
I mean, they set up a home, they get routines, they paint the walls.
yeah.
It just that gives it a whole different feeling to it.
Yeah. And I think because we talked about that the accidental wokeness of Night of the Living Dead by
Yes.
having an African American in the lead role and the end kind of mirroring the lynchings in America in the 60s. And,
Yes.
and Romero just like, well, huh? What? Oh, I thought I made a horror movie. I think in this one, the social commentary is a little more.
On the nose.
Yes, I was gonna say more conscious, but yes, it's kind of on the nose
It is a bit
um,
on the nose.
with some of the stuff. Um, and I'm not thinking. There's definitely the beginning where when the SWAT team attacks the project,
Well, yeah.
which is just
That is
well, yeah,
very
it's very, yeah, very on the
forced.
nose. Yeah, they even use the gamer word, so we can't really talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, that's better than saying N word, the gamer word, because that's funnier.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's the N word. What was his name? Wooly gets very agitated by the fact that his apartment isn't as nice as these immigrants' apartments.
Is that why he freaks out?
It's not only he's a racist.
Well, yeah, yeah, I
And
got
he's
that one.
yeah, but he mentions that God, they live in these nice hotels. This looks better than my place. Blah, 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 blah.
So I didn't really catch what he was saying. And I was like, the hell is wrong with this dude?
Yeah, kill all their asses. Yeah. And it's very, very, very poignant then that it's a black man that shoots him.
Yeah.
But more what I think this movie comments on is the rampant consumerism
Yes.
of America that was happening in the 70s. I always think of consumerism and like excess as more of an 80s thing, but I suppose it started in the 70s because I one of my all-time favorite movies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, deals with that as well.
Yeah.
Even more so in the sequel, which I've been trying to write a video for like 2 years now. But anyway, and this is very similar in that because I mean, you have like the on the nose stuff is that in the movie they mention that the zombies why are they here, why have they come to this place? Oh, it's probably
Yeah.
like instinct. This was an important part of their life. And it's literally just people walking around like zombies in a mall, and you can hear the mall music and the
They even
announcements.
like grab stuff kind of like
Yeah.
they would.
Um, and then later, instead of sticking to the plan, which is to get to Canada and hopefully the infection is lesser in Canada, they stay in the mall because they become
They
so
have everything.
they have everything they need. They have all the stuff. They even Steven Flyboy. He even says that to Fran after she gets attacked by the Hare Krishna zombie. Like
Oh yeah.
you can't believe all the stuff we found. We have so much. We have so much stuff, and they're blinded by materialism basically.
Yeah.
And
But the
that,
comfort of having everything free. I mean, it is free, but
Yeah.
it's not theirs. Still stealing.
yeah. Which is kind of fun. Jumping ahead a little bit, but when the biker gang comes, and Steven gets a little angry, and he says,
Yeah,
"They
they're
can't
taking
take
our
it.
stuff.
It's our stuff. We took it first." I'm like, "Excuse
Yeah, I
me,
was
you
like, come
robbed
on.
this place." And he goes insane and starts killing people. Well, okay, tries to
Yeah,
kill people, I suppose.
they do
Um,
kill some people.
yeah, but there's literally like just before that, we have it's kind of a montage. Um, I think it's right after um, Roger has died or becomes a zombie and gets shot by Peter. These names, the names are so generic. Roger,
Yeah,
Peter, Steven. So hard. It just sounds like I don't know. It's
generic names.
yeah. I can't believe I'm remembering them. Anyway, after that, yeah, that's kind of when the lull sets in, and you have like a montage where they're just going through the motions, and there is one scene which I hadn't really thought of before, um, but it's like a close up of Steven laying in bed, and it slowly starts zooming out, and you see Fran next to him, and they're just sitting there, staring blindly, like zombies.
Yes.
And yeah, and they're just. It was just like, oh my god, they became, what they fear because they're just stuck in this place, just like the zombies are. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
that's the thing, I guess.
that's the thing. And like I've thought about that before, and I've heard people talking about the symbolism of consumerism and stuff like that, but I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it in like a long time before, like last year, because I got the latest, whatever, it's back there, the latest Blu-ray version, and I rewatched it. And it was eye-opening to watch it now as an adult instead of like a teenager, because probably haven't watched it since I was like, yeah, in my late teens. And see more of the symbolism, and not just the typical stuff that you see in a zombie movie, like, oh, zombies aren't the threat, the humans are the threat, which that's part of this as well. I mean,
Part of it, but not all
yeah,
of it.
no, not all of it, of course not. But I mean, they literally like exterminate the zombies, uh, one by one, and they aren't really
Yeah.
under any threat until the humans arrive.
Yeah.
But then to see all that other stuff with the materialism and the consumerism, it was fun. Um, but how much of that did you see? Was it because you mentioned it was on the nose? How on the nose was it for you?
Well, the consumerism was very on the nose. As soon as like they realized that they were in a mall, that they could like just like when they get into that specific store that is 2 stories,
Yeah,
and they just lock the doors, and then they're like, but how are you going to get the stuff out of there? That scene was just so like, why do you need all that stuff?
yeah,
You've been there for literally a day, and you're already planning on like buying a new wardrobe.
yeah, yeah. Well, like I
Because it
said,
wasn't just necessities. It didn't seem like just necessities.
no. Roger picks up a jumper or whatever it's called in English, and ties it around his waist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He does say something about like, do you need all that stuff? But like,
yeah, yeah.
do
But
you
at
need that
least
fancy jumper? Can you just pick the
at least Peter.
better jackets?
Yeah, at least Peter picked out a TV and a radio. That's at least
True.
necessary. Because that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
Communication stuff.
But it just felt kind of stupid. And I was thinking all the while, I was like, weren't you planning on going somewhere?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
keep moving.
And
Don't box yourselves in. Even if you eliminate every single zombie inside the mall, don't box yourself in there.
yeah,
Because eventually someone's gonna find you. They even say it, someone's gonna find us. They hope, unfortunately, that it's gonna be someone to help them.
yeah. Lo
Not
and
to.
behold, what happens? Yeah,
Yeah. Not to loot the place.
yeah, exactly. Even though this one ends a little more upbeat than Night of
Yeah.
the Living Dead, they still lose like
Half of them.
Half of them, yeah. Peter and Roger and Steven. See, now I start to forget the names. Flyboy and Steven. No,
I want to call
Flyboy
him.
and Roger. Anyway,
I want to call him Flyboy and Ben, and I don't remember the blonde dude's name, but that one's Roger, I guess.
yeah, that's Roger. Peter is the tall black man. Ken
Yeah, he's
Foree.
the Ben character.
Yeah. Foree, who, if you listen to last week's Patreon exclusive episode, you will have heard us referencing Ken Foree's name when talking about Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. I won't tell you how or why.
You have to subscribe and listen.
Anyway,
to it.
now enough plugging. Sorry.
But like it took they settled down too much for my taste, and I didn't like that. And like you said, they kind of became caged in just like the zombies were.
Yeah.
And it was very on the nose. You could see it on their faces how like dull everything was.
Yeah. Yeah, and they start the movie with a sense of purpose. They have to go here, they have to pick up this. But as soon as they settle down,
keep moving.
As soon as they settle down, they stop. They become attached to this place. And then later you get to the part where Fran literally says, "What have we done to ourselves?" And that's when they decide to start. They pack some stuff into the chopper just to get ready to leave at some point.
And she finally gets to learn how to fly it, which they mentioned earlier that she should know how to do that in case, or someone else. Actually, everyone should know how to do it.
Yeah, everyone should, but it's just Fran that learns to.
I think because she's the only one who's adamant about it.
Yeah.
The other ones are like, yeah, sure, we'll learn later, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. But even no, that's right. Okay, sorry, I was thinking about when he plays like squash or whatever against the wall. It's a very nice shot of him. He's hitting the balls against the wall up on the roof. And one of the balls falls down, and we just see the zombies are still out there. Like they're just ignoring what's happening with the rest of the world and just like we're fine in here. Yeah, exactly. And I love that shot when the tennis ball falls down, because we haven't really seen much of the zombies for a while at that point. It's just like, oh shit, right, the world has ended outside.
Isn't it shortly or like in around that same scene that Fran kind of flips out on Steven and like, why are you even looking at that thing? There hasn't been a broadcast in 3 days.
Yes. She's cooking dinner.
Honestly, when the broadcast stops, wouldn't you like, oh shit, maybe we should keep moving and see if we can find someone who can tell us something?
Yeah.
No, they just like, we're fine.
Interesting foreshadowing to Day of the Dead. But we'll save that for next week.
I don't actually think I've seen that one.
That's nice, because honestly, it's not the best of the three, but it's probably, well, I haven't seen it in a long time, but it used to be my personal favorite. But we'll get into it. Foreshadowing. By the way, I should read here. We have a comment from Rasmus Jonsson, one of our proud Patreon supporter. Welcome to the show, by the way. I love how they shack up in the mall. I feel like I'm in there with them. Love the character moments. Yes, good. Let's get to that. Good. Thank you for reminding me. Because that is something that is similar between the two movies. That there is a lot of focus on the minutia of surviving. Like in the first one, we had like long scenes where we just saw them boarding up the place.
Yeah.
Looking for nails, looking for wood scraps, There's a whole sequence of them trying to fill up the truck with gas, which ends in a fiery explosion, but still. And here, I mean, there's like literally an hour of them just like settling in. When they arrive at the mall, I think it's been like half an hour maybe, I think.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, and then they spend another hour just like getting rid of the zombies, finding the things they need to settle in, just going on shopping sprees.
Painting the walls again.
Painting the walls. Literally, painting shut the door to the outside of the mall.
Yeah, they board it up with like drywall and shit to make it legit.
Yeah, because well, Peter mentions that when someone eventually gets in here, I don't even want them to know that we are in here. So yeah, they paint over the door, and then they use the air ducts to move around, which is smart.
Smart, but kind of dumb.
Yes, kind of dumb, because you've literally sealed yourself in there.
You have like two narrow spaces to get in and out of,
Yeah,
and they're not. One of them leads to the roof. That's it.
sure. Like, I
And
mean,
the other one is.
they have the roof, but in any other situation when you don't have a fucking chopper,
Yeah, the
getting
roof
out
is useless.
escaping to the roof is your last resort, because after that it's just a fall off, when the zombies come.
Like one of the rules in horror. I think we've mentioned it before. Never go upstairs.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's a rule in the zombie survival handbook. It's
Oh yeah, you have though.
yeah, yes. Never go upstairs, and if you have to, try to destroy the stairs or the ladder
Yeah.
as much as possible, because you're gonna stay up there. You don't want anyone
Yeah,
else to
'cause
get up
you're
there.
probably not gonna get out
Exactly.
any other way, unless of course you have a ladder,
Well, of course.
which you should have,
You should have, but you don't always have.
because that's like a fire hazard otherwise. But
Yeah. Um, but so I was thinking, like, because we have like two montages, two pretty long montages where they just shop,
Yeah.
or have dinner or play video games, and if the movie could have been shorter somewhere, I guess it's in that hour.
Yes.
But I do also think that a lot of that is to really hammer home the fact that they are getting way too comfortable in the situation.
But you could have shown that in other ways instead of
Yeah,
literally crossing out days in the calendar.
yeah, it could have just been shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah, like instead of
You could have shown it more in like how in changes in them, like giving the men more of a scruff, because they've been there a while. Sure, they have access to bathrooms and stuff, but maybe they stop shaving after a while because they don't care anymore because it's been so long. Kind of like letting Francine's hair get longer or something. I don't even think it does that.
No, but they actually have a specific scene where they show them cutting at least Steven's hair.
Yeah, that's true.
But we do have the passage of time with her belly, of course.
True, but it's not that
we don't see it that much. Yeah.
And that confused me. She still smokes and drinks wine.
Yes, well, it was
like,
the 70s.
Did she lose it, or is it just because it's the 70s?
I said that out loud to myself. Wow, yeah. Smoking, drinking, calm down, lady.
Yeah.
There's a baby in there. Anyway,
at least she's only drinking wine.
Oh, yes,
I guess.
Yeah, she's hitting the hard stuff, thank God.
Like the boys are.
Yeah. But like I was saying, like I do prefer it to be a little dragged out like this. Because that's literally like how it would be in real life. It becomes like routine. You get stuck in a rut, And
that's what it is now when we're on lockdown.
Yes, thank you. And that's why we're watching these movies. We're gonna talk about that as well. But let's finish this segment first.
Yeah.
I do rather prefer that they kind of spend a little too long doing that stuff, and it kind of gets boring. Because that's what happens. It gets boring. That's why you have the scene of them like just sitting on like they've become literal zombies. Rather that than having like in a modern movie you have like 5 minutes of that routine stuff, and then it's just like one of the characters, but oh my God, what are we doing to ourselves? We have become the thing we fear the most. We are the zombies.
Say it too out loud in this one.
No, exactly. They show instead.
Yeah.
It's a little blunt. It's a little on the nose, but at least they show instead of tell. But that's I don't have a good example of it, but that's how a modern zombie movie would have worked. One of them would have just flipped out, and then like, oh no, I understand now. We must leave. Okay.
Yeah.
So I do prefer this.
Yeah, yeah, but it could have been like cut down 20 minutes of it or
Sure,
something.
sure, maybe, yeah. Or well, if there's honestly, like completely objective, if there is a scene that they could have made shorter, the whole scene with the trucks and boarding off
Yes,
the entrances, like it's too long. Like we get it, you gotta drive the fucking trucks.
I mean they only move 2 trucks, but still,
Yeah, but
it takes
it's like
so
15
long
minutes.
because it's like you get to see him what's it called, hot wiring the trucks in
Yes,
real time both
yes.
of the times.
That's one thing I would have cut out, at least shortened if I was editing it.
Yeah,
Um, but
that's
other
one of the scenes that I reacted to most, I think, because when he was bitten, Roger,
Roger, yeah, yeah, Roger.
that was very graphic to me.
It is. Yeah, you can say what you want, what you will about
The makeup and
makeup.
the
Yeah,
SFX in general.
it looks
But
janky.
when they're biting into the humans, it actually looks kind of nasty.
It's very nasty. Like they rip out like chunks of meat.
I had to look away.
Yeah, it's good, and there's like blood
It
spurting
looks
everywhere.
disgusting.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's how it should be.
Yes.
You should be disgusted by it. That's the point.
Yeah. Then of course all the zombies, or most of the zombies, just being blue. That is, like we talked about in the last episode, it was budgetary constraints. It was literally Tom Savini and I think 1 or 2 more guys painting hundreds of people into zombie makeup, and we're like, yeah, you're all just gonna be blue. It's supposed to be gray, but they look blue.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be like a bit of a homage to the original as it was in black and white, so the zombies were gray in that one.
Yeah, or just making them look dead.
Yeah.
I don't know when what episode that was, but we talked about the guy on the train who had an epileptic seizure and literally died for like a second or two. He was
You turn gray.
yeah, he was ash gray, and that's what the zombie should look like. And here, kind of, they're more bluish, but still.
Yeah, according to a trivia on IMDb, they chose the gray color of the zombie skin since the Night of the Living Dead was in black and white and the zombie skin tone was not depicted.
Okay.
But it was a bit of a mistake because many of them ended up looking quite blue on film.
Yes, yes. The color timing was off for that.
Yeah.
That's also why the blood looks kind of like I don't know what it's called in English, but there's a house paint called faluröd in Swedish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like
that classic,
typical
like,
classic red paint you see on like
cabin red.
yeah, like you see on little cabins in like
With the
postcards
white
from
nooks.
Sweden. Yeah. That's called faluröd. Faluröd because it comes from
Falu is a place in Sweden.
Falun is a place, and there's a mine there, a copper mine, Falu copper mine, where that red paint comes from, copper.
Yeah, the tint comes from the copper. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So the blood looks kind of like that because it's almost like milky. It's not really clear. And I think that's also just a budgetary thing. But if anything, it gives the movie a distinct look. Like you can instantly, hep, that's Dawn of the Dead. This is not from any other movie. But yeah. Other than that, though, yeah, I think the effects are great. Some of the makeup, so, but I mean, the gore, there's much more gore.
Oh yeah.
And even if
much more up close gore.
Yes. And even if it isn't as graphic as some modern movies, like you said, it's still graphic enough that you had to look away.
Yeah, and it's more graphic in a way than modern movies because in this one they actually had to take bites out of stuff.
Yeah.
Compared to modern movies where they're like CGI everything and they just act like they're biting shit.
Exactly.
More or less.
So, I love all the practical stuff. There's like one, I'm not sure how they did that. I haven't looked that up. The one zombie that steps up on a crate and gets his head lopped off partially, he gets like scalped by the helicopter. Yeah. It looks like they did that for real. Like he obviously has like a prosthesis on his head because his head is so tall. You see that earlier in the movie when we first see that zombie. But then he just steps up there and it just literally cuts the top of his head off.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess it could have used wires or something, but you see the
The
roller
blade.
blades. Yeah. And I'm like, did they do that for real? I don't know. Have you found anything? I haven't really researched that much.
I haven't found anything on that one
All right.
specifically.
It's a great effect though, and then he just dies. Roger just standing there like, oh, okay. So yeah, that's I think that was I'd probably seen some super violent, graphic, like bloody movie like this before. I think.
Sure.
This is the earliest that I can really remember. Especially from the beginning of the movie. There's the pictures that are like stuck in my head when it comes to gore. Of course, when Wooly shoots the head off a guy and it just explodes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but they didn't quite edit that perfectly. They kept like one frame of the actual head in. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't notice that.
It's so quick. If you don't know about it, you won't see it. But it's like a paper mache head full of like fake blood. And if you pause the movie, you can see it. And it's just like it doesn't look real at all because it's like actual paper mache, which they did shoot with a real shotgun though. So the explosion is real.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, it's Tom Savini cocking a shotgun and shooting that head off.
My God.
and that's kind of cool. But then later in that scene, you have when the zombies first start appearing. There is one woman who runs out and like tries to hug. I think she says "mi vida," me something, calls him Miguel or something, and he just takes a chunk out of her shoulder.
Yeah,
and
that's
it just starts
also one of them.
gushing blood. It's so nasty because he just and a complete chunk just rips out of her shoulder. It's so disgusting.
You know, I found something about the helicopter zombie.
You did? Okay.
Tom Savini chose his friend Jim Crut, I think you say.
Okay.
He played the helicopter zombie because he was notorious for having a low forehead.
Oh my God! Okay.
So they didn't have to add like
too much
too much on someone who already has a tall forehead. This one has a low one.
But did they actually do it for real then?
It doesn't say more than that.
Ah, okay. Well, we can only assume.
Yeah.
But yeah. Speaking of gore effects, that's definitely something that gets better though, and it even gets better in this series, because in Day of the Dead, they have ramped up those effects a lot. But that's once again saving that
for next week.
For next week.
You know what my two favorite zombies are?
No.
In this movie, the nun who gets stuck in the door.
Yeah.
I love her.
That's also
I don't know why. She looks, because they have a nun who sticks out very much, and the what would we call him, the Buddhist guy?
Yeah, the Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I love that. Why would they have that? But it works.
Yeah, well that is a thing in Romero movies. He did that in the first movie as well by having everyone like wearing like plain clothes, but then he has one naked zombie just so you like
that's
you
true.
react to something different.
Yeah.
And in this one, you have a nun, you have a fat guy in a bathing suit or a bathing trunks, swim trunks. They stick out. The zombies. So it's not just a bunch of like
random people just in the regular clothes.
Yeah, because people look different, so you have to make them like stick out, which he does. In all his movies. I think there's I don't know if that's Dawn or if it's Day, but there's like a cheerleader zombie, or no, a marching band zombie. I think that's Day of the Dead. Anyway,
something.
Yeah, and that's just to make them stick out. I think maybe this is me just speculating right off the top of my head. Kind of to humanize them as well. I mean, they're supposed to be just this mass of this moving mass of hungry, just wanting to consume, to eat. But at the same time, a lot of time, not a lot of time, but some time in this movie is spent on people not willing to accept the fact that zombies are like a threat. Is an ongoing thing, especially with the like talk show segments, which we see. There's like two major ones. One in the beginning, one towards the end with the eye patch guy.
Yeah, the scientist.
Yeah, yes, the scientist who keeps screaming, "Dummies! You're all dummies!"
And he wants to feed them.
Yes, one of his plans is to feed them.
So they won't eat us. I was like, what? Let them starve instead and see if they die.
Yeah.
I have to turn off my dryer. One
Oh
second.
my God, we are
Keep
live,
talking.
Rebecca.
Keep talking.
Yes, I'm so sorry. If you're listening to this, well, can take time to plug again. If you are listening to this on Spotify or iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to podcasts, you won't hear this. That's one of the advantages of listening to this after the fact. But if you're here live, I'm very sorry.
I'm
very
back. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
I had to, and otherwise it would have been beep beep, and I don't want that in the background.
was that why
Not
you
sure
were?
My mic.
Your eyes kept like going over to the.
Yeah, because I could
Okay.
hear it. I was like, shit, I have to turn it off.
Anyway, we were talking about humanizing the zombies.
Yes.
Because you have a scene, I think it's the same scene as the nun, but earlier in that scene, where Fran is, she's sitting by that glass door, and she just she locks eyes with another zombie. I think he's wearing like a football jersey or something.
She's like, down on the glass,
and she almost looks like sad because
she feels sorry for him.
Yeah, they used to be humans, and I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what the point of that is, like specifically. But there's definitely a theme of not taking the situation seriously enough, you know, because you have a bunch of people when both the experts are being interviewed, the one in the beginning and the scientist towards the end. People keep screaming at them whenever they say something that is too logical, you know, that isn't emotional enough. Like, oh, you can't consider them human anymore, or we have to kill them all. We have to burn the bodies. People are like, oh no, you're insane. Those are people, man. But it is the only way to stifle the threat.
Yeah. To actually kill them, you have to kill them.
Yeah, and people are unwilling to.
Yeah, because it's their family members and friends and neighbors.
Which is understandable, but when a situation has escalated as much as this has, at some point you have to let go of that and actually do what the scientists tell you. Otherwise, you're dummies.
Yes.
And that's why we have what was in the first movie a kind of contained situation, even though they mention that it's happening all over the country, which I think they kind of retconned in this one, because now it's actually a national security issue. You mentioned in the last episode that this was supposed to be only a few weeks after the first movie. Like,
I think I read somewhere that it's supposed to be like 3 weeks later.
Yeah, which just doesn't make sense if you look at the movies.
No, not really.
It works thematically. If you look past the fact that one movie looks very 60s and one looks very 70s.
Yes. If you just think of the events.
Yes, the events.
Definitely, yes, that could work. Because you're in a different part now. You're seeing different people, how they're experiencing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It could.
So
that could work.
Yeah, in the first one, when they interview the police, the sheriff, he says, "No, we'll have this mopped up in the next 24 hours." Like,
yeah, but he's just thinking about the local threat, even though he kind of knows that it's national. He's just thinking about his. I think he's even like thinking about his county.
Yeah.
Not like even his state.
Yeah, and I mean, and he thinks that if everyone just thinks like me, it'll be fixed. You know, we'll fix this.
Yeah. But not everyone's thinking like him.
No, 3 weeks later, we're in Dawn of the Dead.
Mm.
When and the movie literally starts at a news station, and with when Fran is handling the camera just before she leaves, and the guy comes over and he says like, you go ahead and leave. So the emergency broadcasting is taking over at midnight. Our responsibility is finished, he says.
But he kind of grabs the camera like he's gonna stay though.
Well, yeah, they have to go from 9 to 12 at least,
But she's okay to leave.
Yeah, if people are just leaving, it doesn't matter. It's
I'm guessing he doesn't have like a family to go back to while she has her husband or boyfriend or something.
Yeah.
Partner.
Well, like Peter says, or when he asks, "Is he your man?" She looks at Steve and says, "Most of the time."
Yeah.
I know in the novelization, which there is, I'm in the process of reading it. They do mention that this is completely unnecessary. But anyway, she actually was married.
To someone else?
Yeah, she married like right out of high school. She married someone, and they were like married for 3 years, but then they divorced. And then Peter was there to pick up the pieces, so to speak. And that's why it's a off and on relationship, because, I mean, he's nice, but he's Steven.
Yeah.
In the book. But they don't mention that.
She kind of has that, like, you can kind of see that on her when she's interacting with him sometimes.
A little bit.
It's a little bit of like, I only want you when I want you. I don't want you otherwise.
Yeah.
But then he got you pregnant, so shit, maybe you should stay with him. And then when he asks her to marry him, well, I mean, she does say no because it wouldn't be right. Yeah, it wouldn't be real.
Because they wouldn't do it with a priest in a church.
No, but it wouldn't mean anything. It would be like a panic thing. Oh, like marrying someone who's about to die just so you can like inherit the stuff, right? Or something.
Yeah. But right. So what this movie really is people always talk about zombies being like a post-apocalypse thing, after the bomb dropped or after the virus, we have Mad Max and and movies like this. This movie is like mid-apocalypse. This is as the world is falling apart. This is the
apocalypse.
Yeah. Which I found very, very interesting, because we see how people handle a situation, and if we are to see these 4 people as sort of a representation of humanity, I guess these the 4 protagonists and the biker gang, you can see why no one is, like I mentioned before, they don't have that. They're not goal oriented any longer. They're just like trying to make it. And they don't really see the forest for the trees, so to speak. And you also have that. You also then have that with the people not being willing to go to the extreme measures that you have to stop the virus. And here we get to where this movie, just like Night of the Living Dead, is very relevant today. Because it was our unwillingness to actually take this virus seriously in the beginning, or some of us at least,
that has led it to be this dramatic or drastic or big, I guess.
Yes, well, we are now in our 2nd full year of lockdown.
Yeah, and I think I saw reports from America that they have like 400,000 people dead now.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and we had the presidential inauguration with everyone wearing masks, which was really weird to watch.
Keeping distances and not even showing up.
I have been hesitant to use the whole new normal term, because it's like, come on, it's only been a few months, but
now it's been a year.
It's been a year, and the more I watch, I says, fuck, maybe this is the new normal. I really hope it's not. I would like the world to go back to at least kind of when it was before.
It's gonna.
Some aspects of it.
Some aspects of it. It's gonna. I think we talked about this before Christmas as well.
Yes.
Or, in December.
Just before Christmas, less than a month ago, I was much more like, no, it's not the new normal.
Yeah.
People are overreacting, but in this month alone, I've been like, ugh.
I think it's because you have changed the year. You have a new year, then it feels like, oh shit, time has actually passed.
Like 2020.
Changing months, that's fine. It's just another month. But when you're in new year, and it's like, oh shit, it's a new year.
That might be it, yeah. Because you're like, 2020 is over. Nothing fucking changed. Oh my god, what am I doing? No.
Well.
And that's kind of what we see in Dawn of the Dead. People's unwillingness to go
Take action.
take action, do what is necessary.
Do the right thing.
Yeah.
Just wear a fucking mask.
Exactly.
Well, it doesn't help
Well,
with zombies,
doesn't
but you
help
know.
around. Wear thicker clothing. Wear jeans.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I don't think I mentioned this last week, but I when I was researching zombies in general, mostly for the Patreon exclusive one,
Yeah.
I came across. Do you know what Troom Troom is on YouTube?
Oh yes, that
Those
50
kind of
cool
like,
life hacks.
yeah.
Yeah.
They
Those
have
terrible.
so many videos on how to survive a zombie apocalypse.
Oh no, really? Oh my god.
Yes. I had to watch a few of them. A few of them is like, yeah, that's just common sense. Like, have an emergency bag. Make
Yeah.
sure you have water. Yeah, no shit. But they had like tips on how to get safety things for your arms, like use plastic bottles. I'm like, what?
And it's all with this plucky vlog music, and the voice is
Yeah,
always like
it's
this.
like-
Oh no,
it's
he's
for
a zombie
kids.
now.
It's for kids.
Yeah, I know.
Just-
I've watched.
I mean, they weren't dumb. It's true. Some of it was
They've done
very
some-
true. Like,
They have done some monumentally idiotic stuff, though.
well, yeah, but the zombie stuff was like, okay, yeah, sure. You protect your forearms because that's what they're normally gonna get at. You protect your legs because that's what they're normally gonna get at by just padding them with something that they can't bite through.
True.
So I mean, they're not that dumb.
No, I guess. I mean, they are preparing us for a zombie invasion, which hopefully won't happen, or maybe
Yeah.
hopefully will.
Mm.
Talked more about that in the exclusive episode. Anyway,
Yeah, we should discuss our contingency plans more in detail in one of these exclusive ones, I think.
we probably will. Yeah.
Because my plan has changed.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. But we'll keep that.
But,
We'll keep that
yeah.
for the anyway.
I do have one issue with this movie, with Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Because when what's the blonde dude? What was his name? Roger?
Roger.
When Roger gets bitten,
Yes.
it takes him at least a couple of days to turn.
Yes. I think Peter mentions that it could take up to 3 days or something like that. He's seen people survive 3 days.
Yeah, but he's the only one we've seen survive for 3 days.
Yeah.
And then when Steven gets bitten, he turns within
Like minutes.
Minutes.
Hours. I think it's supposed to be like an hour or two. But yeah, but still.
yeah,
still.
whatever. Within the same day at least.
Yeah.
I'm like, does the morphine hinder the transformation?
No.
Or is it the will, or is it the amount of bites?
It's the will
or...
of the man. No.
Yeah, I've heard of people like curing cancer by just having positive thoughts.
Sure. I think this is not like an official explanation. But the virus first has to kill you. The virus slowly kills you and then reanimates you into a zombie.
So if you die instantly,
Exactly.
you
You
reanimate
turn
faster.
within a few minutes, basically. And since Roger kept his wounds bandaged and cleaned,
Yeah.
he didn't bleed out immediately, and he didn't die from an infection like that. He was able to survive until the virus literally killed him from inside.
Okay.
While Steven, he got bit several times and probably bled out in about an hour.
he was bleeding a lot.
Yes.
Yeah,
why
so he died quicker, and that's why
died
he
quicker.
turned quicker.
Yeah, because as
Because
soon
the
as
turning in itself isn't the thing; it's dying. You have
it's
to die
yes,
first.
you have to die to become a zombie.
But then you have like, I'm gonna have to mention another movie now, even though we're not supposed to.
That's fine. That's fine.
The Brad Pitt one, World War Z.
World War Z, yeah.
12 seconds.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, like there are no
But,
there are
yeah,
no
that's
official
a-
rules. So
no,
that's the
that's
rules they
true.
use in that movie, which I like. I like that in that movie.
Yes,
But
it
I think
works in that
for
movie.
for Dawn of the Dead, it wouldn't have worked. It would have been
No.
much too stressful.
They also have the faster zombies, so.
Exactly. But I love. Okay, quickly about World War Z, when one of the Israeli lifeguard people gets bitten, he just
Oh, and they chop off her arm?
she just oh my god no, and he just a quick decision and chops her arm off. It takes
He
like
saves her.
it takes like 3 seconds. She lives, so
Exactly.
but that's so good. He just like, oh no, hold on, slaff. That's so good.
Yeah,
That movie,
that's
it's
another one.
yeah,
If we want to continue with the zombies, maybe
yeah,
maybe we can talk about that one.
yeah.
I don't know how long we're gonna continue with the zombies though. What's the plan here?
The plan is to talk about the Living Dead trilogy.
Yeah,
So 3 episodes, 3 exclusive episodes probably, and then we're gonna move on to something else. That's the
yeah.
plan. Because
Then maybe it's my turn to choose.
yes, it is. Technically, it should be every other week, but since I picked that trilogy,
Yeah.
Um. Right, because
Sorry,
I
I
mean,
kind of went off there.
a little bit, but we could literally talk forever about zombie movies. We could just
Oh
pick a
yeah.
random zombie movie and talk for years. Which is
I
what we're
mean,
gonna
we've
talk
literally
about.
done that when we were younger.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about in the upcoming exclusive episode. Talk about all the other zombie movies that this one
Yes.
spawned. So
So if you want to listen more to us rambling on about zombies,
yes, our fourth plug for this episode. Check us out on Patreon to get the $3 exclusive episode. And if you pledge $10, you get an exclusive video every month or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, check that out. Anyway, sorry.
that wasn't supposed to be a plug. That
I'm
was
gonna-
supposed to be more of a
I'm gonna
wrapping up, I
I'm
guess.
gonna have to edit this so much for Spotify because I can't have all these plugs in there.
Why not?
I don't know. Anyway, right, wrapping it up,
Yeah,
because we're about an hour in. That's this movie, like, becoming a milestone is then kind of both a gift and a curse,
Yes.
because it did spawn the zombie genre, which I love. I love a lot of zombie movies, a lot of the movies we've talked about. But it also gave us so many bad ones.
Yeah.
So for that, I curse Dawn of the Dead a little bit. For it being so good that people leached off it for like 20 years.
Still.
Yeah,
Technically.
still. I mean, it's slowed down, but yeah, people are still making zombie movies.
I mean, last year I can mention 3 zombie movies that were released.
yeah, yeah. You're working on your own little zombie project.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, we had Peninsula, we had #Alone, no, Alive,
No, #Alive and Alone.
Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about that in another video.
Yes. But
Those are the 3 I can mention.
yeah.
But there's always going to be zombie movies, I guess, from now on.
Yeah.
And that's all thanks to and in spite of, I guess, Dawn of the Dead.
Yes, and it's like we talked about in Night of the Living Dead, like it created a new genre. It created the last great cinematic monster, the zombie. So
yeah,
for that, kudos.
Kudos to George A. Romero.
Kudos to George A. Romero. Rest in peace. It's been a while, but still, rest in peace. Oh no, I lost it.
Like the zombies do.
Whatever. I forgot it.
Whatever.
I had some clever thing to say.
You probably remember it for next video.
Exactly. But right. So
I think that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
For today.
For today, and in the next episode, then in our next official episode, we're gonna talk about Day of the Dead and to see how it all ultimately ends. If we don't fucking take it seriously, huh?
Maybe foreshadowing what will happen to us if we don't start taking this seriously.
Exactly. That's why we're doing this. This is a public announcement, people. Spread the word, because nobody knows about it already.
Have you heard that people think that the vaccine is going to turn people into zombies?
I've heard that, and while
First it was the disease. First, people thought that when you die from the disease, you're gonna become a zombie. Now they think that you're gonna become a zombie from the vaccine instead.
I know. And I'll say I'm a little hesitant because it did
vaccines in general.
Yes, I mean you are literally exposing yourself to the virus. So
I'm just thinking about what happened to the swine flu.
Yeah, right, narcolepsy and all the other stuff that happened. And old people, I read old people that got the vaccine in England, I think. A lot of them died.
Some of them, and some of them had weird allergic reactions.
Yeah. So while I am eventually going to take the vaccine, I'm just gonna wait a little bit. I want to see what
We're
the
not
side
gonna
effects
be.
are.
Yeah, we're
You're
not
not
gonna
gonna
be
test that shit
prioritized
out of
anyways.
me.
We're not prioritized anyways.
No,
We'll be fine.
we'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. It's all fine.
It's
I'm in
all
here.
fine.
I'm safe. I have all this stuff. I'll be fine. We have so much great stuff in here.
Dum dum dum.
Bum, bum, bum. Anyway.
Anyway, thank you all for listening.
Thank you all for watching. And if you are listening to this afterwards, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to hit the like button here on YouTube. Hit the subscribe thing, all that stuff, so you are alerted whenever we do another live stream or release a new video. If you're listening to this on iTunes, give it a 5-star rating, of course. We gotta fucking hit that algorithm and climb up the charts. Follow us on Spotify. Like us on Stitcher, Podbean, wherever you listen to podcasts. Check that out. And of course, check out Patreon one last time. It helps us a lot. And
Yes.
We'll talk to you in the next one. But until then, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.